There is a black pipe running down the hill behind my house. 4 inches across, it cost less than a good pair of work boots, and it has been making electricity every second of every day for 11 years, through rain, through snow, at 3 in the morning when the whole valley is asleep. Most people think you need a big river for this. You do not. You need a big drop. So why does a stream you can step across make more power in a year than a whole roof of solar panels? My name is Suda-chan. I live in a narrow valley. Behind my house there is a concrete irrigation channel, the kind you see all through the countryside here. It is about as wide as a kitchen table and about as deep as your knee. It brings water down off the mountain to the rice fields below. It runs hard from April to October. It runs smaller, but it does not stop all winter. For 31 years, I listened to that water go past and did nothing about it. Picture something. It is January. Dark by 5. The wind comes down the valley straight, no kindness in it. Inside, the kerosene heater is running. The rice cooker is on. The light over the kitchen table is on because my wife is doing the accounts, and she will not do accounts in a dim room. And 10 steps from that table, on the other side of the wall, 300 kilograms of water is falling past my house every single minute. For free. And it has been doing that since before my grandfather was born. That is the part that bothered me. Not the bill. The waste. I tried things. I am not a clever man. I am a stubborn one. And those are different. First, I bought solar panels. 6 of them. In June, they were wonderful. In February, in a valley with a mountain sitting on the south side, they were decorations. One winter, the snow sat on them 11 days, and I went up with a broom and nearly came off the roof. Then I bought a generator. A little red one. It ran the freezer and 2 lights through a typhoon outage, and I was very proud of it for about 4 hours, which is how long the fuel lasted. Quick word before I go further. The old methods my family uses, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. So then I tried water, which is what I should have done first. I bought a small turbine. I laid pipe from the channel down the slope to a shed. I was careful. I thought I was careful. And when I opened the valve, I got 40 watts. 40. That is a light bulb. That is not a house. That is not even a freezer. I decided the turbine was junk. So I bought another turbine, a better one, from a proper supplier, and I spent money I did not enjoy spending. I plumbed it in the same way, down the same slope, through the same pipe. 40 watts. Now I was angry, and being angry made me quiet. And being quiet is when a man finally starts looking. There was an old fellow in our land improvement district, the group that maintains the canals. Every farming village here has one, and his name was Ito, and he was past 80, and he had spent his working life on water. He came and stood on my slope with his hands behind his back for maybe 2 minutes. He did not look at the turbine. He never once looked at the turbine. He walked up the pipe, following it with his eyes, and he stopped at a place where the pipe went over a small hump of ground. A rise of maybe 40 centimeters. Nothing. A bump you would not notice walking. He tapped it with his boot and said, "Your pipe goes uphill here." I said it goes uphill by 40 centimeters, and then it goes downhill by 12 meters. He said, "It only has to go uphill once." We dug out that hump. 2 hours with a shovel. Same channel, same water, same pipe, same turbine I had just called junk. 310 watts. So here's the question I want you to sit with, because it is the whole video. The water did not change, the drop did not change, the wheel did not change. The only thing that changed was the shape of the pipe. So what was actually making the power? And what had I been measuring wrong the entire time? Let me tell you what almost everybody gets wrong, because until you have this, nothing else will work. People think water power is about how much water you have. It is not. It is about how far the water falls. Everybody who comes to look at my system says the same first thing. They say, "My stream is too small." And I ask them, "How far does it drop?" And they do not know. They have never thought about it. They have been standing beside their own water for 20 years measuring the wrong thing. Here is the truth of it in plain words. The power you can get is the amount of water multiplied by the distance it falls. Both matter, but the falling is the part nobody looks at, and the falling is the part you can usually get more of, because a bigger stream is not something you can arrange, and a longer pipe is. So learn this one line and you will know more than most people who sell this equipment. Watts equals the drop in meters times the liters per second times 5. That is it. That is the arithmetic. 5 is the honest real-world number after the wheel loses some, and the pipe loses some, and the generator loses some. Nobody sell you a machine that beats it by much. So, a stream giving 5 liters a second, that is a bucket every 3 seconds. That is nothing. That is a trickle you would step over without looking down, with 10 meters of drop, gives you 250 watts. Now here is where people stop listening, because 250 watts sounds pathetic. And here is where I need you to keep listening, because 250 watts is not what you think it is. Solar panels work about 4 good hours a day, averaged over a year, in most places. Wind is worse, and it is moody. But water does not care that it is night. It does not care that it is cloudy. It does not care that it is Tuesday. It runs while you sleep, and it runs while you are at work, and it runs on the day of your daughter's wedding when nobody is home at all. 250 watts for 24 hours is 6 kilowatt hours a day. To get 6 kilowatt hours a day out of the sun, you need something close to 2,000 watts of panels. 8 panels, a roof full, plus the frames, plus the wiring, plus a man on your roof for a day. So a trickle of water you could step over is worth 8 solar panels. Every day, in February, in the dark. That is the whole thing. That is the piece the equipment sellers do not lead with, because there is not much money in a pipe. When I finally got a proper quote for solar and batteries to run this house, it was more money than my first truck cost. My water system, all of it, pipe and cement and wheel and wiring, came in around 60,000 yen. Call it $400, maybe $600 at today's prices for a build like mine. And it has run 11 years. So here is the line I want you to take away, and I want you to say it out loud once so it sticks. You are not collecting water. You are collecting height. The water is only the rope. That is why my pipe over the hump gave me 40 watts. The water was still moving, plenty of water. But an air pocket had settled in the high spot, and a bubble sitting in a pipe is a plug. The water below it was falling free instead of pulling, and free-falling water does no work at all. I had all my water and none of my height. I had the rope, and I had cut the rope. Once you understand you are harvesting a distance and not a volume, every decision after that gets simple. Go higher up the hill, run the pipe further, never let it rise. That is most of the job. So let me walk you through exactly how I would build it if I were starting on your land tomorrow, in order, with the numbers. Step 1. Find your drop. This is the first thing, and most people never do it properly. You do not need a survey. Take a garden hose, the longest you have, and run it from the spot where you want to take water down to the spot where you want the wheel. Fill it. Then put a pressure gauge on the low end. A plain water pressure gauge, $12 at any hardware store, the kind for checking a tap. The number it shows is your drop. Here is the trick, and this is the one to write down. 1 meter of drop reads 1.42 on the gauge. 10 pounds per square inch is 7 meters. 20 pounds per square inch is 14 meters. That little gauge is a surveying instrument and nobody tells you. Step 2. Find your flow. Bucket and a watch. Dam the stream with a board, run all of it through one gap, hold a bucket under it, count the seconds until it fills. A 20-liter bucket in 4 seconds is 5 liters a second. Do it 3 times. Do it in the driest month you can, in August, or in a hard freeze, because the system you build must live on the worst week of the year, not the best. Step 3. Do the arithmetic before you spend anything. Drop times flow times 5. Write the number on a piece of paper and put it on the fridge for a week. If the number is under 50 watts, walk further up the hill and measure again. There is nearly always more drop available than people think. Step 4. The cement box. This is the part everyone builds wrong because they think it is a water tank. It is not a water tank. It is a silt trap and an air trap, and those are its only 2 jobs. Mine is a simple concrete box, about the size of a bathtub, set into the bank beside the channel. Water comes in one end, slows down, and while it is slow, the sand and grit fall out of it and sit on the floor. Clean water leaves out the other end into the pipe. Once a season, I open a plug at the bottom and let the sand blow out. And here is the trick for this step. The mouth of your pipe must sit at least 4 pipe widths below the water surface. 4 inches of pipe means 16 inches under the water. Less than that, and the water spins a little whirlpool over the pipe mouth and swallows air, and now you have bubbles in your pipe again, and you have lost half your power, and you will never see why. Build the box deeper than looks necessary. Nobody has ever regretted it. Put an overflow lip on the far end so the box always runs full and slightly spilling. A box that spills a little is a box that never runs dry. Step 5. The pipe itself. Schedule 40 PVC. Ordinary gray pressure pipe, sold everywhere. A few dollars a foot. People ask if it will hold. 30 meters of drop is about 43 pounds per square inch. That pipe is rated well past 200. It is not close. 2 rules. Go one size bigger than you think. A narrow pipe rubs the water, and you lose power to friction over a long run, and pipe is cheap compared to regret. 4-inch if you can afford it, 3-inch at minimum for a real system. And the second rule, which cost me a season. It never rises, not once. Not by 40 centimeters, not by 10. From the box to the wheel, it goes down, always down, the whole way. If the ground humps, dig the hump out. If you cannot dig, put a small air valve at the top of the hump so the bubble can escape. Bury the pipe about 18 inches down if your ground freezes, and if it does not freeze, bury it anyway, because sunlight eats PVC and cows step on it. Step 6. Match the wheel to your drop. This is where people buy the wrong machine. High drop, small water, over 10 meters, you want a Pelton or a Turgo. Those are the wheels with the little cups, and the water hits them as a jet from a nozzle. Mine is a Turgo. It is the size of a dinner plate. Low drop, more water, under about 5 meters. A Pelton is useless, and you want a crossflow or a small propeller instead. In between, a crossflow does fine either way. The trick here is the nozzle. On a Pelton or Turgo, the nozzle is what sets everything, and it should be small. Much smaller than feels right. If your nozzle is too big, you drain the pipe faster than the stream refills the box. The box drops, the pipe sucks air, and you are back to 40 watts. Start with a nozzle you think is too small and open it up slowly over a week while you watch the level in the box. When the box stops spilling, you have gone too far. Close it back 1 notch and leave it alone forever. Step 7, and this is the one I will not let you skip. The dump load. A water wheel cannot be turned off. The water keeps coming whether your batteries are full or not. If the batteries fill and the wheel has nowhere to put the power, the generator overspeeds and the voltage climbs and things burn, not wear out, burn. So you fit a diversion controller, a charge controller that runs in diversion mode. Mine is a Morningstar. There are several. And you wire the extra power into a heating element sitting in a tank of water. When the batteries are full, the controller sends everything to the element instead. And now, here is the part that made my wife stop complaining about the pipe. That tank is our hot water. All the power we do not use becomes a bath. 11 years, and I have not paid to heat water once. Let me pull back now because the pipe is not really the point. In this country, there are something like 400,000 kilometers of irrigation canals. Concrete channels running down out of every mountain valley, built and maintained by farmers for rice. They have been there for generations. Every one of them is falling. Every one of them is doing work that nobody collects. After 2011, when the power situation here got frightening and everyone was suddenly very interested in where electricity comes from, a lot of clever people went looking for answers. And a good part of the answer turned out to be already built, already paid for, already running past somebody's kitchen wall. Whole districts up in Toyama now run small turbines in their farm canals and sell the power back. Small systems even get their own price under the feed-in rules. Farmers' associations, not companies. Nobody invented anything. They just stopped walking past it. And I will tell you what old Ito said to me, the day we dug out that hump and the meter jumped and I stood there feeling like a fool. He said the mountain has been paying this village every day for 400 years, and we only ever took the rice. That is the line. That is the whole video. The water was always going to fall. The only question was whether it did any work on its way down. So here's what you do tonight, and it costs $12 in one evening. Go to the hardware store. Buy a water pressure gauge. Come home, run your longest garden hose from the highest water you have, a spring, a ditch, a creek, a canal, a roof gutter that never stops in the wet season, down to where your shed or your house is. Fill the hose, read the gauge, multiply by 0.7 and that is your drop in meters. Then do the bucket, then do the arithmetic. Drop times liters per second times 5. You will have your number before bed. Put that number in the comments below. Tell me your drop and your flow and where you are. And I will tell you honestly whether it is worth building, including when it is not. I read all of them. The next one I want to show you is the intake box. Properly. Because there is one thing my grandfather's generation mixed into the concrete before they poured it. It costs about 300 yen. Without it, the box cracks in the first hard freeze, and you rebuild it in the spring. With it, mine has sat in that bank 11 winters, and there is not a line in it. Until then, go and find your drop. The water is falling anyway.